This video is a guide for beginners of where to start and what to learn to get faster. This is not a tutorial and will have little algorithm or method teaching. This video will include a brief discussion of the best methods to start with and a description of each. Then there will be a step-by-step guide of what I would learn when starting the puzzle. This includes some small tips and tricks along the way that will speed you up. And finally, there will be a chart with all the main methods of the puzzle so you can understand it better. 2x2 is solved like a 3x3 without the edge pieces. The beginner's method is really simple and only involves two very short algorithms which you can get sub 13 with. The next beginner's method is using 3x3 knowledge in algorithms, specifically CFOP with 2-look OLL and 2-look PLL. This involves 9 algorithms and can be pushed to sub 8 seconds. Then the intermediate method is Ortega, involving a bit of 3x3 knowledge but with some special 2x2 algorithms. There are a total of 12 algorithms in this method and you can get sub 5. This video assumes you know CFOP with 2-look OLL and PLL, therefore I will not be covering the beginner's method and only 3x3 method and Ortega. The step-by-step things I think you should learn include the basic 3x3 method, the 3x3 method with Ortega OLL, and then full Ortega. Next, there are some huge things that you can do to get faster, including tracking bars and predicting the last layer, and finally, predicting OLL. The 3x3 method involves 3 steps. First is the first layer, which is done mainly by intuition. Next, you orientate the last layer, or OLL, where you make the whole face the same color. There are 7 algorithms for OLL from 3x3. Finally, there is a permutation of the last layer where you solve the cubes using 2 3x3 algorithms. The Ortega method has the same step. The first layer is intuition, but much easier as you don't need to match the colors of the pieces. OLL has 7 algorithms too, but they are much shorter than 3x3. And finally, PLL has 5 algorithms, 2 of which from 3x3. So the first method that a lot of beginner 2x2 solvers use is just using the 3x3 method. So what we do is we find a piece, got a blue, white, red piece here and a blue, white, orange piece here. So we can insert this piece into here using an algorithm like that. There are no edge pieces here, so we can be a little bit more creative. But as you can see, we've got a piece here that's got to go here. So we just bring this up and put this in. This piece has got to go here because obviously you see orange, orange, green, green. So we insert it like this. Now in OLL, we just use one of our 2-look OLL algorithms that we have, the cross at the top. This one is anti-soon. And finally, we finish with one of our 2-look PLL algorithms, either T-perm or Y-perm. Obviously, as we have a bar on the left, we know this one is T-perm. And in the case where we don't have any bar on any side, we can just use Y-perm. Obviously, this method is relatively slow because you're doing unnecessarily moves and algorithms, but it does work and it's very easy for people to transition from 3x3 to 2x2. A few ways you can improve this method is using smart first layer strategies. For instance, because there are no edge pieces, we don't have to be worried about messing anything up. For instance, here, this green and red piece has to go back here because this is green. But instead of taking it out and inserting it like that, all we could do is we could just move this piece back so it's in the right position. And then here we can just bring that in. Another thing you can do to insert it more efficiently is as you're moving one layer down, you can add another piece. Another thing you can do is you can use one piece inserting to insert another piece. For instance, in this case here, when moving this piece down here, instead of moving it here and then inserting this one, you can do it all in one go. So you bring this down, bring this over here, and then that goes down like that. Obviously, there are lots of fast ways that you can do to make this first layer easier. Make sure to check other videos and other Cubist tutorials to find out these cool little strategies. More methods of improving this method is to predict the entire of the first layer during inspection. And secondly, you can also try to predict your OLL case. However, this method is pretty slow and I wouldn't recommend doing that. Now, most beginners will normally naturally go straight into Ortega, except what I did is I just continued using this 3x3 method, except I made some algorithms more efficiently. Specifically, instead of using the 3x3 OLL algorithms, I would use the 2x2 OLL algorithms. Okay, so let's have a little example solve. Okay, so normally here we see we have an OLL case at this top layer. A lot of Cubists, what they will do is they will go and just do the normal 3x3 algorithm. However, 2x2, since it doesn't have edge pieces, some of these algorithms can be more efficient. For instance, the algorithm for this OLL is this. Very simple, much more efficient. You can look at all these algorithms on a lot of Cubist channels. I would recommend something like JPEM. You can also check them online, like in websites such as SpeedCube database. One thing I forgot to mention in the previous section is another way you can improve all these methods is being color neutral. I could build my base on the orange side and I wouldn't hopefully be any slower than what I would do on my other side. So we got the base there, do my Ortega OLL, and then finishing with that. You could do a lot of other optimizations for this method. However, I would really recommend going to learn full Ortega because that is significantly faster. Okay, so as I said, I'm not going to be teaching the whole Ortega, but I'll take you a bit of the premise of what it is. The biggest difference between the 3x3 method and Ortega is that you do not have to build base where all these pieces here have to align. For instance, I want to build on the white side here. I don't have to care where the pieces are. We see these two pieces match, but these two don't, and these two don't. And I'll explain why later. Obviously, we have our Ortega OLL. The biggest difference between the 3x3 and Ortega is you do something called PBL. For instance, here, for example, you see that the yellow side is completely filled and the white side is completely filled. Only this bar is in the colors are matching. So you would do one algorithm to solve the whole cube. There are 5 different algorithms that you need to know. 2 of them, which you would already know, which would be TPEM and the YPEL. And that's really it for PBL and Ortega. Now for time saves, similar to the previous methods, be smart with how you build your first layer. This time with Ortega, you have a lot more freedom because you don't need all the sides to match up. For instance, on this yellow side, I don't have to put this piece here. And instead, I can put this at the back. Because if I move this around the back and lay that down there, that's solved. And I just put this here. There are a lot of fancy techniques that you can use to build your first layer. If you have a piece inserted here and you want to do this, you can just do L2, U, L2. There are a lot of different techniques like this and I recommend studying a lot of them. And again, the other way you can improve using the Ortega method is to predict all your moves of your first layer in inspection. Now you can do your complete first layer one look without needing to refer back to your pieces after inspection. The next step you need to do is track where your bars are going. If I'm trying to build cross on the white side, first thing is I would insert this piece here. When I do that, this orange piece will become here and there'll be no bar except this blue piece back here would go here. When I insert this piece here, I know it's going to go into here. And because this is going to be blue and this is red, there's going to be no bar created on the bottom side. So when I do those moves and then I go through OLL, I know that there's no bar on the bottom side. So now I can just check the top side. Then I'm like, oh, there's no bars. I do the algorithm and the cube is solved. This will really save time when doing PLL because you don't have to look at the bottom layer. And if you know that there is a bar on one side or all the sides or no sides, you can just go flick, look, and then solve your PBL algorithm. Like all look ahead, this is quite hard and it will take a lot of practice. My recommendation is do solves where you're conscious about what you're doing and not about how fast you're going, and also give yourself infinite inspection time. In this case, I'm going to be doing the yellow side here. So I'm going to be moving this piece here with just a U2 and then R, and it's going to be here. This blue is going to be here, and you see this creates a blue bar here. And now I know that when I'm at PBL, there's going to be a bar at the back. So I'm just going to solve. All I have to do now is just look, is there a bar? Yes, there is. So I flick this way, I put the bar in place, and then I do my PBL algorithm. Solved. One other thing you could start doing is practicing AUF, which if you don't know what that is, there are a lot of different techniques to do this, but this is my favorite. We've got a bar here and a bar here. Obviously we put them on top of each other. But after my PBL algorithm, I need to align the upper face. If I wait and look at it, it's going to waste maybe half a second, which could be vital. My technique when doing this is looking at this top layer and then looking at these two colors. If it's of this color, then I don't have to do anything. If it's opposite of this color, I have to do a U2 to put on the other side. If it's of this color, I have to do a U to put this here. And if it's opposite of this color, I have to put it here with a U prime. So this is white, so I know it's going to have to go here. So after I do my PBL algorithm, I just do a U and it's solved. I am not up to this stage, but the next step for you to do is to track where your OLL is. This is done by looking at your opposite color. So if I am doing white base, then I just have to track where yellow pieces are going. I'm probably going to insert this back piece here by doing a U and then R prime. When I do the U, these two pieces will move onto this side, and then this piece will obviously move up. I would do this for all my pairs, and then I can predict my OLL. This is really as max that Ortega can be pushed. Obviously, there are really good Ortega solvers which can really predict their next moves. However, this is really what the average person can do. If that's as fast as you want to get, just stick with Ortega. My biggest recommendation for the next step is CLL. Okay, now a chart of all the methods of 2x2. Obviously, you begin with beginner's method and the 3x3 method. You can learn 2x2 OLL with the 3x3 method, which is also part of Ortega. Next is CLL, which is actually an algorithm set with 42 algorithms. This will help you solve the last layer in one go, as long as the whole first layer is complete with all matching colors. The rest of the methods are just learning more special cases. EG1 and EG2 are both essentially CLL variants, except your first layer has pieces swapped. EG1 has 2 adjacent pieces swapped on the bottom layer, while EG2 has 2 diagonal pieces swapped. EG1 has 43 algorithms, while EG2 has 42. Then there are some really obscure subsets of algorithms for really niche cases. These are only done by the best of the world and include TCLL, LEG1, LS1, LS2, LS3, TEG2+, TEG2-, OLS, and more.